भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले प्रभुपादकी प्रिय श्री गिरिराजाय स्वामिने सुवक्त्रधरास बिहारीभ्यं भक्तिभ्यश्चात्मादाय। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं। हरे कृष्ण। So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 6. So we are on chapter 2, and we're going to read the supplementary notes. So that was a very interesting section about the deliverance of Ajamil. So now the mystery of this whole section is like unbelievable. How is it that Ajamil is so sinful? How did he escape hellish punishment? You can put on the light, it's so dark. Can you turn the light? Yeah. Let her do. No, this one. This one. Okay, that's better. So, supplementary note to this chapter. Now we have to read it very carefully. And this section is discussed in Madhurya Kadambini in a very, very systematic way, this entire incident. And here, Srila Prabhupada is adding this note. I mean, actually, so Prabhupada is saying supplementary note to this chapter. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary to text 9 and 10 of this chapter form a dialogue concerning how one can become free from all sinful reactions simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. So in Madhurya Kadambini, which is by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, so he explained this. And this is also, I hope, that you are studying Nectar of Devotion. All right? The recordings are available online. You can listen, and Madhurya Kadambini also, it is available online, different speakers. So now it's just going to be a summary of this very detailed uh, explanation. So someone may say, it may be accepted that by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one becomes freed from all the reactions of sinful life. However, if one commits sinful acts in full consciousness, not only once, but many, many times, he is unable to free himself from the reactions of such sins, even after atoning for them for 12 years or more. How is it possible then that simply by once chanting the holy name of the Lord, one immediately becomes freed from the reactions of such sins? Meaning that, it's not like people do. Prabhupada keeps quoting, the Christians. They go on Sunday, every Sunday they go and they confess their sin, and every Sunday they come back, right? And again they confess their sin. So one Christian pastor, he started recognizing the same voices again. And you know how they do it? They have like a, how do they do it?
Net.
They have a
From
net.
the net.
Oh,
On the
okay.
other side of the net.
Okay,
Basically.
okay, all right.
And from this side, the pastor is
Is listening, right?
And
So,
it's supposed to
so every Sunday he's hearing the same voice. So meaning confession. Confession is also one way of atonement. So we have heard Parikshit Maharaj, he said it is Kunjara Socham, right? He said it's elephant bath. The elephant bath. This atonement is elephant bath, meaning that I commit some sinful activity, I go and confess, and then again I do the same thing. So therefore, he understood that pastor. I don't know where it is. He understood that something is wrong with this system. And somehow or other he came in touch with the devotees because he wanted to go further. He wanted to understand further. How do we actually become free from sin? So this is a fact that atonement is not sufficiently powerful to remove sinful activities or the commission of sinful activities which is arising from desires which is stuck in the heart. Because of this understanding, of soul, reincarnation, karma, right? Meaning that we understand that we shed one body and we take on another body. We shed on the next body, we take on another body. But we continue with the same hard drive, right? We keep on changing the computer body, right? That your hard drive, you money, you keep it. So it's being installed in the next body next. So what's happening is what we call samskara, right? So our samskara is just remaining thicker and thicker and thicker if we don't do some method to cleanse it, right? It's terrible how we can stock up things, like even our bodies, right? Our bodies, physical body. If we don't do house cleaning, right? Again and again, the body, right? It becomes very dirty inside, right? And it becomes sick and it causes so much disease. So similarly, the soul is accumulating desire of the desire, and we are not removing, we are not able to remove. We are not following any process by which to remove. But these desires are producing reactions, right? And reactions may be good or it can be bad. And here for Ajamil, it is accumulation of sinful action that is taking him straight to hell. So we've discussed before that Yamaraj, the Yamaduta, had this point that this man didn't do anything to atone for his sins in any way. So therefore, his path is to hell. But how come the Vishnudita came and said, this man, he chanted Narayan, therefore became running, right? So here we say, okay, maybe, somebody from time to time, he commits some sin, and then he regrets it, and then again he does it because he's too weak. Hridaya Dorbalya. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Hridaya Dorbalya. In the heart, there is this weakness that make us commit sinful activities. So due to this weakness, we say human weakness, right? Usually we say when somebody does something wrong, it's just a human weakness. He's done it or she's done it, right? But here, the point is that, so if we did something wrong and then we try to remove, okay, then we do it again. Here consciously he's doing it. The question is that if one commits sinful acts in all consciousness, not only once but many, many times, meaning with no regret at all, when people get addicted to committing sinful activities, they do it without even batting an eyelid, we say, no? Without hesitation, without thinking, not even aware. This is the case of Ajamil, not even aware that he's committing sinful activities, right? Just like people have become meat eaters, right? They
And they
become,
don't feel anything about it.
yes, you just go to the shop and you buy the meat, right? You do not even think twice that maybe I'm causing harm, violence to some living entity, right? Hmm? So the atonement. However, if one commits sinful acts in full consciousness, not only once but many times, he is unable to free himself from the reactions of such sin even after atoning for them for 12 years or more. Meaning that atonement also does not excuse a deliberate sinner. You follow this? Atonement also does not excuse a deliberate sinner, right? So what to speak of the holy name, right? Among the 10 offenses, right, there is one offense. Which offense?
No, no, no. Committing sin on the strength of the holy.
Yes, to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. Say, anyway, I'm a devotee, It's okay, I'm a devotee. So it's going to be all right. I'll be excused. So here, is a Jamil in that category? This is the question. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur replies by quoting verses 9 and 10 of this chapter. The chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative, for one who kills a brahmana, or for one who indulges in sex with the wife of his guru or another superior. It is also the best method of atonement for one who murders women, the king or his father, for one who slaughters cows, and for all other sinful men. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection. So, atonement. So, here, chanting of the holy name is being accepted as a means of atonement and the best means of atonement. So we're just hearing one lecture by His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj because Pitri Paksh was going on. So suddenly pops up. I don't know how all this happened. It pops up, and I say, "Oh, Pitri Paksh," So let me listen. Did I post it somewhere? I keep posting on our groups. I don't know where I posted it. Anyway, he told a story that I've heard millions of times, but I didn't connect it. I mean, that's why, it's like I've heard Logonath Maharaj speak about it in the temple. All the time they tell that story of Gokarna, right? Gokarna. Huh? Yeah. So he told, this story. Every Marathi know this, right? Huh? Every Maharashtrian know this story. Hmm? Anyway, I didn't connect it to Pitrupaksh at all. I'm speaking in terms of atonement, all right? So this Pitrupaksh is like atonement, right? For sins committed by
Your
the
forefathers
forefathers.
to deliver them.
Yeah, and that's why, and Maharaj is saying that today, people, they are not eager to have children because they don't realize that the value of that child. They don't realize the value of that child. Because that child, if you make any mistake, the duty of that child is to deliver you, right? So he told the story of, whole story I've forgotten, but main point is this, that how, so in his destiny, Pitrupaksh, he cannot have children. He couldn't have children for 7 lives, meaning he did something so wrong. I don't know what he did so wrong that for 7 lives, this person couldn't have a child. But then, and the woman who he was married to was a very sinful woman, and she didn't want to bear the child. Hmm? Hmm?
Atmadev Brahman.
Dunduri.
Dhundini.
Dhunduri.
Brahman is Atmadev. His name is Atmadev and her wife's name is Dhundini.
Hmm. Anyway, I can't remember all the days, but so this woman didn't want to have any child, so she did some trick by which the child was born, right? So the end of it all was that he's destined not to have a child because of past sinful activities, all right? But by hook or by crook, he managed to get a child. but then I can't remember the story properly. But this man was murdered. All right, he was murdered because he was a sinful man also. He was murdered by his so many wives, right? So many wives, and he became a ghost, right? So just see, I'm speaking about the the difficulty of uh, liberation from sinful reactions. So Maharaj is explaining then what happened was that, is it Gokarna? No.
Gokul, see, one of Hindi, I will tell in Hindi,
Hmm.
which I am comfortable.
Yeah.
ये जो आत्मदेव ब्राह्मण थे, उनको बच्चे नहीं हो रहे थे, तो वो आत्महत्या करने जा रहे थे। तो उनको एक साधु मिले, तो उन्होंने बोला कि तुम्हें 7 जन्म तक बच्चे नहीं होंगे। तो उसने बोला अच्छा, इनको इतना नॉलेज है तो वो पक्का मुझे बच्चा दे देंगे।
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't want all the story.
हाँ,
Just tell me
तो
the end.
तो उन्होंने बिकॉज ऑफ गोकर्ण आई टू टेल दिस।
हाँ, बोलो,
हाँ,
बोलो।
तो फिर उन्होंने बोला ठीक है, मैं तुम्हें एक फल देता हूँ, अपनी वाइफ को
Yeah,
खिला दो।
yeah.
तो
Go ahead. Pass
उसने नहीं
ahead.
खाया।
Yeah. Tell me. Who's Gokarna?
गोकर्ण है जो फल दिया ना, उसने गाय को खिला दिया।
Okay. Gokarna is that Brahman?
No. Sons, use of calf or cow.
Okay.
और
Okay.
क्योंकि
Who was
उसने वो
born? Who was born from the cow is Gokarna. All right.
बिकॉज वो
Okay.
फ्रूट उसने, औरत ने नहीं खाया, उसकी वाइफ ने, दूल्हे ने नहीं खाया, उसने काव को खिला दिया। तो काव को भी बच्चे नहीं हो रहे थे, तो वो फ्रूट खाने से काव को बच्चा हुआ, जिसके कान काव जैसे थे लेकिन वो ह्यूमन था, इसीलिए उसका नाम गोकर्ण, कर्ण मीन्स ईयर।
All right. Okay. Now this Gokarna. Okay. So this person is a ghost. All right. He has become a ghost.
और उसकी वाइफ ने उसकी फ्रेंड का बच्चा ले लिया।
Yes.
और वो
Yeah.
पूरा मतलब ऐसे ही यजामिल के जैसा
Yeah.
आउटलाइन।
Yeah. I just want to come to the point. All right. So this person cannot be freed from his sinful reaction. All right. So Gokarna, what did he do?
वो गया भी गए, वहाँ उनको आया, हम उसे भागवतम रख पाया।
Yes. Okay. That's the point. That's what I want to know. Not the story. Meaning the Pitripaksh didn't, all this offering during Pitripaksh didn't work. All right?
Get him delivered.
All right. This is the point that the Maharaj is making. Because all our devotees, right? Maharaj is giving a very clear message. All right? Very clear message. How do Vaishnavas help their ancestors? All right? You can go Sat Janam, this person, however many Pitripaksh you observe this one, if that man is so sinful or the woman is so sinful, he or she cannot be delivered by any type of Pitripaksh atonement. What delivered him was, all right? So during those 15 days of Pitripaksh, what should you all do?
Recite Bhagavatam.
Yes, gather your family members and recite Shrimad Bhagavatam. This is the sure remedy for how a strong sin may happen. All right? As I said, millions of times I've heard that story. But now when I listen carefully to Radha Govind Maharaj, and the title of that lecture was Pitrupaksh. So I was interested, why would Maharaj speak of Pitrupaksh? Right? So he explained how the ancestors can be delivered. Because anyway, as Maharaj is giving so much elaboration, how people do not have children. They are not interested in having children. So much detail Maharaj is going in this, the man, the woman, what's her mentality, what's everything modern day, he's speaking. What's the solution? You don't have children. What's the solution? Shrimad Bhagavatam. All right. Srimad
Because you don't
Bhagavatam.
have a lineage to give you the pinda for you during. There is no Pitru Paksh for a person who doesn't have a children. Right?
Yeah.
That is one of the
So
reasons
what
that
it
they
is?
push you to have a children.
So what it
Even my
is?
mother-in-law, she used to say the same.
And if your child is not interested to do it pinda, what will you do?
What? That is also rare.
So therefore, Vaishnav Sangha is so important. Vaishnav Sangha is so important. When your child is somewhere out and say, I don't have time for you. If you are in your Sangha, right, they may come and do Bhagavad for you. You understand? And all this, we say donate Bhagavatam, right, is coming just before Pitru Paksh, isn't it? Bhadra Purnima, right? So all these devotees, right, who are donating or receiving Bhagavatam, right, from then. So here you are. See how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful to the fallen souls of this age, right? Every system is taken care of. And again, I'm just saying how carefully we must listen to our Guru Maharajas. Sometimes we say, we know, right? So that lecture Maharaj spoke, I'm sure, many years back, because his voice was very firm. So many years back. All right. So here the story is coming now. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful person may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers. Because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection. So what is it? What is it in this recitation of Bhagavatam, which is recitation of the names of Krishna, Narayan, Vishnu? When we are reciting Bhagavatam, we are reciting actually the names of Narayan, Vishnu, Kurma, Varaha, Matsya, Narsimha, right?
The Dasha.
Yeah, everybody, and then we are going into Krishna Leela, right? So reciting Bhagavatam is constant recitation of the holy name of the Lord. One may atone for sinful life and vanquish all sinful reactions by chanting the holy name, although this is not called atonement. Ordinary atonement may temporarily protect a sinful person, but it does not completely cleanse his heart of the deep-rooted desire to commit sinful acts. Therefore, atonement is not as powerful as the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So, chanting of the holy name is not in the category of atonement. All right? It's not just counteracting your sinful activities. All right? Something else is happening there. In the Shastra, it is said that if a person only once chants the holy name and completely surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord immediately considers him his ward and is always inclined to give him protection. This is confirmed by Sridhar Swami. Thus, when Ajamil was in great danger of being carried off, his Atma, meaning this is the Ajamil, his body is being left behind, and he, Ajamil, the Atma, is being carried off by the order carriers of Yamaraj. The Lord immediately sent his personal order carriers to protect him. And because Ajamil was freed from all sinful reactions, the Vishnu Dut spoke on his behalf. So please, again, I'm saying it, listen to Nectar of Devotion. Read the book, but you won't be able to understand it only by reading. You must listen to the lectures. Go to vihe.org. Giriraj Swami's lectures are there. Maybe others also. in Hindi. So you search for Hindi lectures, many are posting. And join Bhakti Shastri. They are teaching nectar devotion in Hindi. Hmm? So this point here, in the Shastra it is said that if a person only once chants the holy name and completely surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord immediately considers him his ward. This is the important point. Just imagine that Ajamil, Krishna, Narayan, considered him his ward. You know what's the meaning of ward?
अपने धाम में, अपना
No, no, no. Ward. His ward.
अपने उसमें
No. What is the meaning of ward? Like guardian. You know, you're somebody's guardian, meaning the person is your
अपने
ward.
पाले में ले लेना, हाँ,
Yes.
अपना टीम में ले लेना,
Team, not a
टीम
team,
नहीं,
a
मतलब
team.
पाले में उसको क्या
जैसे आप
बोलते हैं?
हॉस्टल में रहते वॉर्ड
हाँ,
कैसे
और वैसे अपने उसमें एरिया में, अपना एरिया
No,
में,
no. Ward means, see, sometimes you have, let's say you have a nephew who stays in Calcutta and he wants to come and study in Bombay, right? You accept him in your house,
हाँ,
all right? And you sign all papers, all right? You sign all papers on his behalf in the school. So that's why they say name of parent
become the
or,
guardian. You are the guardian.
or guardian, right? Name of parent or guardian, meaning that that guardian is taking 100% responsibility for that child. All right. So here, sinful Ajamil became the ward of Narayan. Okay, Narayan became his guardian. Is taking care of him, taking responsibility for him. So this actually, as far as I remember, it is Nrsimhadev. This particular verse, which Prabhupada is quoting here, is actually it is Nrsimhadev. Says like this: whoever surrenders to him, Lord Nrsimhadev becomes his guardian. So in the Shastra, it is said that if a person only once chants the holy name and completely surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord immediately considers him his ward. Immediately, meaning not next, later will consider, let me think about it. No, Ramchandra said the same thing. Again, Nectar of Devotion. Please read it. Nectar of Devotion. Again, yes, for Vibhishan. When Vibhishan was coming to join Ramachandra, Hanuman, everybody said, kill him. He must be a spy. He must be a spy. He's coming from Ravan. He must be a spy. Ramachandra said, no.
Actually, I have a question.
Mm.
You say that if one by chance chants the holy name and completely surrenders unto the Lord, but he did not surrender.
We're going to continue now. We're going to continue now. So so Ramachandra said, if he's coming, right, even if Ravan would come, right, even if Ravan will come, Ramachandra will accept him, right, and forgive everything, whatever he has done, even stolen his wife, right? So here, so this is confirmed by Sridhar Swami. Thus, when Ajamil was in great danger of being carried off by the order carriers of Yamaraj, the Lord immediately sent his personal order carriers to protect him. And because Ajamil was freed from all sinful reactions, so now Ajamil was freed from all sinful reactions. What a statement! So we have to understand how. Prabhupada will explain how.
he got the second chance.
No, because he
How?
had his son, right?
How he became freed from all sinful reactions. Then what happened? The Vishnu Duta spoke what?
On behalf of
On his behalf.
Yeah.
You understand how life moves on? Right? Why we need the mercy of devotees, right? Somebody has to speak on your behalf. If everybody hates us, right? If we don't win the appreciation of seniors, right? Who will speak on our behalf? Sometimes it's not even seniors, it's somebody who may be junior, but who is close, like Bali Maharaj. When Vishnu was bound him, who spoke for him? Who spoke? No. Who spoke for him? Prahlad is senior. Who spoke for him? His wife. His wife, right? His wife. She came and she spoke. And we're going to study this. What she said. Hmm? I mean, wives are very valuable, right? Wives are very valuable. If you have spiritual knowledge, they're very valuable, right? So here, because he was freed from all sinful reaction, the Vishnu Dut spoke on his behalf. I mean, just see, every word has so much. It seemed like such a far-fetched story, this Ajamil, right? Okay, he sinned his whole life, and then at the time of death he chanted Narayan, he was freed. Is it that simple? No, at all. So it's okay, whole life I can do what I want, then at the time of death, I will, put a machine, Prabhupada's tape next to me and Hari Bol, right? Is it that simple? Ajamil had named his son Narayan. And because he loved the boy very much, he would call him again and again. Now, we have read before why Ajamil named his boy Narayan. He could have kept any name, right? Why did he name the boy Narayan?
Because of his past piety.
Yes. We had a full discussion on this last week, right? So,
जी वो तो अजामिल ने नहीं दिया था ना,
sorry?
अजामिल ने नहीं रखा था, वो तो साधु लोग जो आए थे उन्होंने रखा था ना नाम
Yes.
नारायण.
Yeah, and Ajamil agreed.
हाँ.
Okay.
So finally it was his decision.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And why would sadhus come to a sinful man's house?
हाँ, उसका
Again वो उसका past karma ही है that got that mercy of the sadhus.
This is so complicated. So complicated, right? Why we are going door to door? There are so many brahmanas, fallen brahmanas, right? But because of this samskar, they welcome us. They open the door, right? They welcome you in. Even though they are doing so many sinful activities, and then it just got in now. So he loved his son so much. He would call him again and again. Although he was calling for his son, the name itself was powerful, because the name Narayan is none different from the Supreme Lord Narayan. Name is Narayan, it doesn't matter who you are calling. We have read this earlier, Sanketa, right? You're indicating something else, but the name of Rama is there, the name of Narayan is there, right? The Krishna bar, snacks, Krishna snacks, Krishna bar, right? Sanketa. When Ajamil named his son Narayan, all the reactions of his sinful life was neutralized. And as he continued calling his son and thus chanting the holy name of Narayan thousands of times, Vishnu Sahasranam, right? We also chanting Hare Krishna, the name thousands of times. He was actually unconsciously advancing in Krishna consciousness. One may argue, since he was constantly chanting the name of Narayan, how was it possible for him to be associating with a prostitute and thinking of wine? By his sinful actions, he was bringing suffering upon himself again and again. And therefore, one may say that his ultimate chanting of Narayan was the cause of his being freed. See, the reason why I'm posing and I'm speaking a lot, because each and everything that I'm telling you has been discussed in Nectar Devotion for nothing less than 40 minutes. So that's why I'm posing and elaborating on it, on each and every sentence here. So let's look at this now. The point is very simple. Whoever walks in this temple, are they pure devotees? Are they pious people? Are they sinful people? Who are they?
It's a mix of both.
Right. Isn't it? Isn't it? That everybody knows. Are they all vegetarian? No. Right? Isn't it? So meaning they're committing sinful activities. Right? But they keep coming. Right? So they keep coming, and then they see the deities, then they take prasadam, they put some Lakshmi in the hundi, somebody poke them, harass them, and give them a Gita, right? Isn't it? Then they hear the kirtan, then they see some sadhu passing by, then they see flowers, the garland, they get some Mahaprasad. So my Guru was explaining in Act of Devotion, he said that each and every item counts. So he said each and every item, say it's like you build up your bhakti sukriti. The person doesn't know that he's making advancement. But it's like you have a hundi and you keep on putting 1 paisa, 1 paisa, 1 paisa. And when there is sufficient, right? So when there's sufficient, that it bears its fruit, and suddenly, I don't know what happened, suddenly I said, let me join this Bhagavad Gita class,
That's
right?
me. This is me.
Let me join this Hare Krishna, this Bhagavad Gita class. And when you sit down, you hear it suddenly clicks. Oh, yeah, it's true. This is what's happening here. So meaning, he is spending his life doing all sinful deeds, but he's also investing in hearing and speaking the name of Narayan. This is what's being described here. So by his sinful action, he was bringing suffering upon himself again and again. And therefore one may say that his ultimate chanting of Narayan was the cause of his being freed. However, his chanting would then have been a namaparad. Yeah, he's, committing sinful activities, and then he chant Hare Krishna, he's freed. So here, say that no, that would have been namaparad. Nam no, balad yasya hi papa buddhi. One who continues to act sinfully and tries to neutralize his sins by chanting the holy name of the Lord is nama aparadhi, an offender to the holy name. In response, it may be said that Ajami's chanting was inoffensive because he didn't chant the name of Narayan with the purpose of counteracting his sins. He wasn't deliberately doing it. He didn't know that he was addicted to sinful actions.
This is what I was saying.
Right? Nor did he know that his chanting of the name of Narayan was neutralizing them. Thus, he did not commit a namaparad, and his repeated chanting of the holy name of Narayan while calling his son may be called pure chanting. Because of this pew chanting, Ajamil unconsciously accumulated the results of bhakti. Okay, so this is Agyata Sukriti, right? Agyata Sukriti, which is building up, building up, building up. All right, until it became actual bhakti. Indeed, even his first utterance of the holy name was sufficient to nullify all the sinful reactions of his life. To cite a logical example, a fig tree does not immediately yield fruits, but in time the fruits are available. Similarly, Ajami's devotional service grew little by little, and therefore, although he committed very sinful acts, the reactions did not affect him. In the Shastras, it is said that if one chants the holy name of the Lord even once, the reactions of past, present, or future sinful life do not affect him. To give another example, if one extracts the poison fangs of a serpent, this saves the serpent's future victims from poisonous effects, even if the serpent bites repeatedly. Similarly, if a devotee chants the holy name even once, inoffensively, this protects him eternally. He need only wait for the results of the chanting to mature in due course of time. So, how did it mature for Ajamil? He has been chanting thousands of times. All right. So, at the time of death, what happened to him? What happened to him?
He got scared looking at the young Dutas, and
Yeah.
inadvertently he again called up Narayan.
When the Yamduta actually came to capture him, he got such a fright. All right? He got such a fright that he surrendered to Narayan. And he wouldn't have done this if he hasn't been practicing, right? Automatically,
The
the
Nara
real,
and he called up
the
Narayan.
real name of Narayan, we studied that earlier, right? We studied that earlier. He actually remembered Narayan out of great fear. All right. So he surrendered. And when he surrendered, and the point is this, people in atonement, right? They come out of it and then again they,
They go back to it.
right? But here, because he actually surrendered, meaning his past samskara as a Brahmana came up, right? And he actually took shelter of Narayan. So he was so shaken. So see, you have to understand one thing. Narayan, Vishnu, Krishna is looking for opportunity to take us out of this material world. He's not looking, let me cut him down so that he stays in this material world, right? Isn't it? Like a parent, he's just sitting and waiting. So when he actually give in completely to Narayan, so then Narayan sent his Vishnu Dut, correct? Narayan sent his Vishnu Dut, but he didn't take them. I mean, they didn't take Ajamil back home, back to God. They didn't liberate him. They only gave him
A
a
chance.
second chance. They gave him a second chance. So now you have so many more years. Now you practice. So when his bhakti was actually mature,
That is the time they took.
then they took him. Then they came back again. So he was given a second chance. So if in between he would have done something wrong, again go back, right? The soul is so stubborn, We are our own enemy. Krishna says, no, chapter 6, this mind is our own enemy, right? We don't know what may pass within our vision, and we get attracted, right? So, anyway, this particular incident is to illustrate the potency of the holy name. Hmm? So, therefore, uh, do not neglect chanting of the holy name. Is it clear? Right?
Yeah, because it logically explained that why that holy name acted. Because when he acted sinfully, he did not know that this is sin he is doing. And when he was chanting also, he was not chanting with the hope that this chanting is going to counteract his sinful activity. In both the time, his mind was like what he was doing, he was just doing it. But somehow that accumulated his piety to such an
Hmm.
extent that it gave him a second chance.
It accumulated to such a point that when he was afraid, fright, he called out Narayan.
Narayan.
All right, he could have called out anything, Mama, Papa, right? Daddy, right? No, he called out Narayan. You know, there's one devotee. She told me how. I mean, she used to come. I mean, she was with us in all these groups like this. Two girls. So they told me about their grandmother. So they told me her grandmother, a very pious lady, and she will do all this chanting and celebrate Janmashtami, everything, big festival. Then she told me something amazing. She said that this old lady, when she became very sick and when she was like about to die, she removed everything. She couldn't stand the pictures of whatever she was worshipping. She gave up everything. She gave up everything. So meaning that how this is very deep. To be a devotee is actually something very deep, because people, they are superficial devotees. I remember one devotee, he takes care of, like a devotee care. She told us the same story. She said that she was taking care of, some devotee, initiated devotee, all right, ISKCON initiated devotee. And then, so she thought that now, time is coming. She knows she's going to go sooner or later. So she started playing Krishna stories, you know. And this devotee who's about, going in the fun, she says, stop this. Huh? Oh, stop this. I'm saying this is initiated. Then she told us. She said, being a devotee is not a small thing.
Because one से वो
It's
कभी
not,
devotee हुए ही नहीं.
not at all. She told me.
तबीयत खराब हुआ तो मैं हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र उठ के बंद कर देते थे. मैं चालू करूँ वो उठ के बंद नहीं सुनने का, नहीं सुनना है, मुझे नहीं सुनना.
Exactly क्या होता है?
So, this devotee, she actually told us, we were having a seminar. And then she told her this incident. So she said, it's not so simple. She was assisting devotees, end of life. So she said, it's not so simple. Are you actually developing attraction and love for Krishna? That you want, huh?
मैं ना भगवान का घर में जाके बर्तन मांजूंगी, कपड़ा सीऊंगी. She knows stitching. वो हमेशा बोलती, मैं ना मेरे लिए प्रे करो. मुझे बोलती थी, तुम भक्त है ना, मेरे लिए प्रे करो. मैं भगवान के घर जाके बर्तन मांजूं. मुझे और कुछ नहीं आता. खाना बनाऊं, बर्तन मांजूं, उनका कपड़ा सीऊं. मेरी मम्मी हमेशा एंड मोमेंट तक ऐसा बोलती.
Yeah, so what we are discussing here, I mean, these are incidents, huh? So it's not so easy or so simple to become a devotee. That ante Narayana smriti, that we actually see, unless we have love for Krishna,
that
Right.
ये दिखाना कि yes we are following this protocol, ये विधि कर रहे हैं